Good morning and welcome to another beginning keyboard class. Today, if you'll turn to page 112, that's where we're going to begin. And we're dealing with the G major. And if you'll look at towards the bottom of the page, you have your F sharp in the key signature, and so right after, for example, your treble clef and your bass clef, if you have no sharps or flats, as you remember, that's a C major chord. That's the key signature of C major. Now, what we're dealing with here is a new key signature, which is G major. And in G major, you have one sharp. So they put the sharp in the beginning so that they don't have to put a sharp in every F that is played in the piece. It just makes it a lot easier. That way, if you're not going to play an F sharp, you'll put a natural sign in there, and so it's much easier doing it this way. So if you remember, a major chord or a major scale is made up of two tetrachords joined by a whole step. Now, excuse me. A tetrachord, if you remember, has four alphabetical letters in consecutive order, number one, and it is a whole step, half step. So that's a tetrachord, whole step, half step, and then there's two tetrachords which are joined by a whole step. So for example, if we look down here, we're starting with the G. So G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step. Now that's a tetrachord. So then it's joined, the next tetrachord is joined by a whole step, so C to D is a whole step. So now we have the other tetrachord. D to E is a whole step, E to F sharp is a whole step, and F sharp to G is a half step. And so there's your two tetrachords joined by a whole step. So looking at, we'll start with the treble clef with your right hand, your number one thumb, number one finger is on G, and you'll remember it's 1, 2, 3, and then you go under to complete, right? So if you look down below, you'll see the fingering for the treble clef, which is G with your one finger, and then A, B, and then you cross under. So your one again is on C, and then D is 2, E is 3, and F sharp. Now you don't see a sharp there because it's in the key signature, right? So your fourth finger now is on F sharp, and then 5 is on G. And then coming back, so it's 5, 4 on the F sharp, E, D, 1 is C, B, A, G, right? So it's okay. Now, in the left hand, going right here to G, see, if you were here with 1, with your thumb, right? So it's 1, but, so this is G, so F sharp is right next to it, and you're hitting that with your number 2 finger. So G, F sharp, E, then you cross under to D, C, B, A, and G. And then going back up, G, A, B, C, D, cross over, E, F sharp, G, right? So, do it slowly in the beginning because both are different, because whether you're going up or you're going down, with the right hand, you're still hitting the F sharp with your number 4 finger, right? But when you go over here, if you're starting with G with your 1 finger, then the F sharp is with your 2nd finger. And then when you hit E with your 3rd, you're crossing under for the D with your 1st finger. Okay, so the fingering is different. So once you get to your number 1 finger on D, then you cross over and F sharp. Okay, so after you do that, excuse me, a few times so that you feel comfortable, then try what they call contrary motion, playing both together, but one is going up and one is going down. So your treble is going up and the bass is going down, but you're still starting with G. So very slowly. You see? Okay? So you can practice that until you feel comfortable. As you'll see in this next piece, one of the things in this piece is when you look at the second line, the third measure, you're going to be going from G using the scale. So the more that you feel familiar with the G major scale, you'll be able to apply it like in this next piece that we're going to do. So one of the things, they call it a new trick, is you're going to be moving, and as we move forward into this book, you're going to be moving a lot more from your fingering, but you'll be on the same note oftentimes. So you're moving your hands and your fingers in such a way that the fingering for what you're about to play will be easier because of what you just played. Okay? So looking up above, there on page 113, you've got That's D. So if you look at, there's your G chord. Now your G is with 1, your D is with, your B is with your 3rd finger, and then your D is with your 5th finger. But so a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you shift your 4th finger over to 1, 2, 3, 4, which makes it easy then for your 1st finger to do an A, and then you shift your 2nd finger on A, and then you'll see as we go why they're doing that. Okay, so the whole point is to make it easier to play. If your fingering can flow, then the piece will flow, because that's one of the things, is you want to be able to play smoothly. And so it's something that a lot of people don't want to hear, and that is, each individual is different, and how often you have to play a particular piece to be able to play it smoothly is an individual thing, but it takes what it takes. And so for some people, it's going to be quite a few times. So as we're getting into more and more difficult pieces, the ability or the attitude to play it often, so that you can make music, even if it's a short piece, to be able to make music. And that's one of the reasons why I highly recommend going back. You don't have to go back to page 1, but go back to, I oftentimes go back to page 30 and just review. And in the review, you see how smoothly you play those earlier pieces that maybe you haven't played for a while. And so do you really know them? If you can't go back and play pretty much everything along the way smoothly, then you're missing something. Because even the shortest piece has some beautiful music in it. And so for you to be able to make music it takes what it takes. And that's one of the challenging things of this Casio that I have at home, is very much like a real piano, even though it's a keyboard. The fingering and everything, and even though this has a sustain pedal, and you can make it soft or loud, the fingering is just so different than what I'm used to. And so I sometimes struggle on this, just because, it is what it is. And so for all intents and purposes, for me not having to bring my heavy keyboard in here every time. So we're going to do the best we can with what we have here. But anyway, so going on to can, to be played brightly. And you'll see that in the beginning it's loud. And when you get down to the third measure in the second line there, you'll see that when you're doing you're just using your G major chord in reverse, it's soft, and then you go back to loud. And so to begin with, then we'll go with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Okay, so that's with your G is with your one finger. Then your 2 finger is A, 4 is C, B, A, and then your D is with your 5th finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's where you switch. So up until this point, everything is right where your fingers are. 1, 2, 3, 2, or excuse me, 1, 2, 4, 3, 2, 5, 5. Okay, so it's G, A, C, B, A, D, D. Okay, so at this point, here's where we shift to our 4th finger, and you're still on D, but D, E, so 4, 5, and then your B, C is 2, 3, and then your A is 1. Now here we shift again. We move over the A with your 2nd finger, C with the 4th, B with the 3rd, A with the 2nd, and then down to G again. Okay? So let's do that from the beginning at this point. Shift. Shift. Now here, you're at G, you're going to go all the way up to G here. And you see that little mark there, look down below at the bottom of the page, descending G major scale. So it's G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. Okay? G, F sharp, E, D, C, and then you cross over for the B, A, G. Okay? So then it's like in the beginning, it's your 2nd finger, 5th finger on D, and then 4 on D. You're switching from 5 to 4. So D, E, B, C, A with your 1st finger, and then A again on the 2nd. And now here you're at G, and your number 5 finger is on D, so that's natural. Then 2 on A, and then B with 3, and then 1 for G. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, excuse me, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that, excuse me, is for the treble clef. Now the bass, we've got G, B, D, right? That's your G major chord. Then this is D7, So. So if you look at page 115 just for a moment, here's your G, this is a C, which we're not using here, okay, but your D7, so that's pretty much what we're using. We're using the G, the D7. So the G is also the broken chord, just like the D7. And then G, D7, G, D7, okay? So then when you put it together, start slowly. So shifting. Okay, so again, so brightly, and again try to make some music out of it. Shift. Oops. Try that again. Okay, so that's basically the can-can. So now we're going to go over to, you want to talk about switching fingers and moving things around. So looking at your G major scale here, if you'll recall, oops, see that should be F sharp, right? So going up the scale, okay, so same with the right hand. So it's as you're going up the scale, you've got to remember your F sharp and everything. When we did the C major scale, all white keys. But now that we're in the G major scale, you've got the F sharp that you need to consider. So this very next one, and this one, and this one. Okay? So just like the way that we manipulated things to make it easier to play by bringing things down. So for example, you've got your G chord here. Instead of going all the way down here, for the C, you just go G, C, G, and then same with the D7, it's C, D, F sharp, right? So, so for chord progression, it's just so much easier. So the G is Roman numeral 1, the C is Roman numeral 4, and the D7 is Roman numeral 5-7. So you just call it 1, 4, 5-7. It's good to know both, that G, C, G, D7, and G. So to be able to go from one chord to another smoothly, okay? Okay, so again, they, on page 114, talk about the G major chord being two tetrachords joined by a whole step. So, 1, 1, half step, okay. 1, half step, joined by a whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So, okay, and the same here. You see how different the fingering is though? Here the F sharp is with your second finger, here it's with your fourth finger. And it doesn't matter if you're going up or down. So here's G here, if you're going up, it's still, F sharp is the second finger. If you're going down, still the second finger. Fourth finger, going down, fourth finger. Okay, so there's some, you can write in the notes that make up the tetrachords and the joining of the whole step to make your G major key. So moving on to our next piece. Now this one, you probably, once you hear it, will recognize it, but one of the major differences is that you're going to be playing D with all 5 fingers. And so you're starting with G here. So we're starting on the treble clef. G, B, D. So that's just your natural. That would be a G chord, right? But after you go to the D with the fifth finger, fourth finger, third finger, second finger, first finger, and then your G with your fourth finger, and then D with the first finger again, And now here, now this is up to you. You've got the D here with your 1. I just shift over, okay? So I've got 1 here, and then 3 on B, and then 4 on C, 5 on D, D, and then A, G. Okay? So this is a little tricky. This will take a little practice, but so you're going Good. Okay, so you're going to be playing this line twice before we go on to the next one. So, but this is the trickiest part. So, so G, B, D, 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 G, D, okay, and then B, C, D, D, C, A, G. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. So playing it at a little more closer to the tempo, it's like it's a march, right? So you're boom, boom. You got the Marines going. Okay, then when we go to the second line, okay, 5 is on G, and of course F is sharp, E, C, E, C, D. Now, you haven't had to move your fingers right here because you've got 5, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so it's G, F sharp, E, C, E, C, D, E, D, G, F, E, C, E, G, D, and then you go back. Okay. So now we've got 1, which is G. We've got 5, 7, which is D7. Then we go to, now here we've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So the dot is, as you remember, more like that. It's a short. And then the second line, then you're here at G. Now you're going to C, which is 4. 1, which is G. C again. So to go through the bass once again, so Okay. Okay, so putting it all together. Okay, so let's play that one more time. So really important how you move. So when you come to and whether you actually just lift up and I just kind of rotate. Okay. Okay. So next time what we're going to be doing is Why Am I Blue? And we're going to be dealing with syncopated notes, which means that notes that aren't on the downbeat. So there's if you look at on the bottom here, this is important, the Roman numerals in this piece on page 107, they are comparing. The difference though is this is a C. Okay, this is a C major, an F, and G7. So anyway, so the other thing that I want to emphasize once again, and that is reading. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to take a minute to, we're going to turn to page 146, and I just want to read going from the bass up and then from the treble down, depending on how you would be playing. So if we're looking at the first measure, you've got G, D, B, D, D, B, A, B, G, E, G, okay, second measure, E, G, B, D, B, D, G, G, B, D, G, G, B, A, B, D, G, B, D, B, D, E. So that's the first line. So starting on the second line, on the bass, G, G, B, D, G, A, B, B, G, D, B, D, B, D, B, F, in this, as you can see, this is in the key of G, so that F is F sharp. So F sharp, D, C, D, D, B, A, C, A, E, C, D, C, D, F sharp, D, C, D, D. Now, even though you're holding this, I'm still reading it again just for practice, right? So, D, D, B, A, C, E, A, C, D, C, D, D, F sharp, C, D, B, C, A, E, A, C, D, C, D, F sharp, D, C, D, D, B, E, C. Now, before I go into, one of the things that you'll see when you're playing, before you're playing a piece that you haven't played before, and you're reading it a couple of times, all of a sudden you begin to see, oh, this particular note is repeated several times, and then you start to see what you're getting into even before you get into it. And so it's just so important to read, and in the beginning just read as slowly as you need to, but the key is when you start learning a new piece, it's so much easier because you know how to read. Okay, so third line, second measure, A, E, C, D, C, D, D, F sharp, C, D, B, C, A, E, C, D, C, D, F sharp, D, A, C, D, C. Now, that's not what we're talking about here, okay? So, okay, back to the last line here. First measure, F sharp, D, C, D, D, B, E, C, F sharp, A, C, D, F sharp, B, E, C, G, G, B, D, G, E, G, B, E, G, B, D, B, D, E, G, G, B, D, G, A, B, excuse me, B, G, D, B, D, B, D, E, G, G, B, D, B, A, B, D, G, B, D, B, D. See the BDs and the GBs and the EBGBs? I mean, once you see what's happening there, it's easier to kind of put the music together. So G, G, B, D, G, A, B, B, G, D, B, D, B, D, B, F sharp, D, C, D, D, B, A, G, E, A, C, D, C, D, F sharp, D, C, D, D, B, A, C, E, A, C, D, C, D, 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 F sharp, C, D, B, C, A, E, A, C, D, C, D, F sharp, C, D, 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 F sharp, C, D, F sharp, B, B, D, C, F sharp, G, B, G, G, B, C sharp, D, G, and G. So just that little bit of practice, if you can do that every day, you will see the result. And it's not about speed, it's about accuracy. So you're not fooling yourself in just sliding through, even though you missed half the notes. That's not what it's about. Take your time and make sure that you're accurate so that you're the one that benefits by it. Okay, so that's our lesson for today. Thank you for joining me, and happy playing.